I did just wash my braids, or my my faux locs, whatever you want to call them, and I just wanted to refreshen them. And I thought that this would be a good time to talk about something that I was actually talking to one of my friends about, who's also in med school, as we were walking home. And if there's, I'm gonna fix my camera a little bit. If there's one thing that you're probably gonna see if I continue to vlog, because it's just something that's like such a pertinent part of my life and it just happens all the time, is hair. And it's not just because I do hair, but like it's something that I had to think about a lot, or not have to, but I do. Just to start off, I love all kinds of hair. I've had my hair natural, I've had it relaxed, I've had it texturized, dyed, fried, laid to the side, like all the things. And I like all the different styles. I like locks. I've also had my hair locked for a very brief period of time. I just couldn't commit. So I'm gonna pause the video right there, just because I want to show you that I like not only natural hair, but I also like variety. Here I am with a buzz cut and then a slightly more hair, and I liked it dyed red sometimes. I had short natural hair. I go to the gym with my natural hair. And then here I am getting ready for work, or on my way to work. When I worked as a nurse, I was super excited for this cute little style, and I did a twist out as well. Here I am, and I went out, and again I had a twist out, and here I am on the plane as well, with a blowout and twisted. With my hair history in mind, let's resume our chat. It's something that takes up time, and when we were talking, we were just like, she was just like, if I spent all the time that I use to do my hair, or thinking about the next style that I'm gonna do or whatever, I'd be like the best med student. And I get that. Like yeah, I guess I can work on my hair while I talk about this. So I'm just kind of like trying to like refresh some of the the hair. Like some of it's like a little bit fuzzy at the bottom. I'm just like twisting the bottom again. You'll see what I mean. So yeah, like I'm using the same, or maybe, well, you haven't seen me do my hair, so I can't say the same hair, but I'm using the hair that I used initially to do this hair. So I just take a piece off like that. Is this like a partial hair tutorial and a vlog? I don't know. Okay, so like let's say I wanted to refresh this one, like at the very top here. I would take this, like kind of like put it closer to the top, because I don't want it to, I don't want to twist too far down. So like that, and then I just literally twist, and then just keep going down. And then that's what gives that faux loc appearance. When you just kind of twist around, like even if you started with a base of braids or twist or whatever, this is how you would get that faux loc appearance, which I guess if you're somebody who watches YouTube already, you don't need me to tell you that, but for those who are not that familiar with what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, back to the conversation. So we were just talking about thinking about doing your hair and med school, or I guess really any profession, and being a Black woman, basically, and trying to consider yourself to looking, air quotes, presentable. Again, I don't really have a very specific way of what I think is presentable, but even then, like I still have probably stereotyped ways of what I think is, air quotes, presentable. And yeah, it can be really difficult, especially thinking about going into clerkship. Like, what are you gonna do? Do you give up being active right before having to do something? Because like this whole conversation came about because she had gotten a silk press, and it was gone by the end of our spin class, basically. And so is that something that you just forego? Do you forego doing things like a silk press, or having like any kind of straight hair, or even having like a twist out? A twist out, if you have 4C hair, that's going to be gone by the end of your spin class. That's going to be gone by the end of a run or any kind of activity. Which again, I like having 4C hair in its natural state as well, but does that mean you don't get any variety, is what I'm... As I'm watching this back, I notice I used the term variety, and if I'm being honest with myself, I'm probably using it to code for something else, and most likely it's my hair in a stretched state. And I think this is what a lot of people often mean. Just because when they say variety, they mean they want their hair to stay in a stretched state, and they can't maintain it, maybe because of humidity or they're working out. So that's another thing that I really have to think about, and my mind might change. Something to think about, and something that I'm still gonna have to think about. I'm at this point considering, like, am I going to get like permanent locks, like going before I go into clerkship? That's inspired by my sister. Last year, like, I was pretty busy, and then I just ended up cutting my hair, which is something I've done like multiple times in my life. Just go ahead and cut my hair. Not even when I'm busy. It's just something I enjoy doing. But yeah, like, it's something that, it's like a real thing that I think about like often. Like, what am I going to do with my hair? So yeah, just a little chit chat there. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my hair, and then yeah, I'll get back to you guys when I end up going to the library. See ya. Before I move on from this topic, I just wanted to add a little bit more on, just because this topic is so easy to misspeak on, and people can it's really easy to have what you're saying skewed, even if you're the person from the lived experience, just because there's somebody else with the lived experience who feels differently from you. And I just wanted to make sure that I do emphasize that 4C hair in its natural state is absolutely beautiful, and I've rocked different styles to school, to my professional job in its 4C state, and I've done different things with it in that state, whether it's flat twist or literally just leaving it out as is. But I'm just saying that for, you know, people who do want some other options, sometimes you do feel limited if you're somebody who's extremely active and then have things that you have to do right after. And so it does take up some of your brain space to have to think about, plan forward for how you're going to plan doing your hair, just so you can partake in the different activities as well as your professional life and everything like that. So again, I love 4C hair. And it's not even a thing of like I care to not get canceled or canceled. I barely have a following, but I do want to actually express that that's something I really do support and believe, and it's important that we show that in it, like 4C hair in its natural state. But I also want people to have the option of having variety. And I don't fault Black women who have 4C hair for wanting stretch styles, especially when the status quo is hair that falls down your back or hair that is stretched in order to be perceived as more feminine. So I completely get it, and it takes a little bit more confidence to rock 4C hair. Even the concept of having sister locks rather than freeform kind of highlights this. It's more feminine, or seen as more feminine, to have something that is less kinky. Really think about that conversation. So I know it's a really vast conversation, and it's really there. There's so many videos on YouTube. There's so many, I'm sure, dissertations about it. So I cannot do it justice in like 4 minutes of part of my vlog, obviously. So just wanted to say that before I move on. Okay, bye.
Common in cervical myelitis. Essentially, people flex their neck forward, and every time they do that, they get a brief shock-like sensation, like a lightning bolt down their spine. Sometimes it can radiate into the limbs, but classically, they bend their head forward and it shoots down their neck and back. Keep in mind that the degree of inflammation in multiple sclerosis is often such that the myelitis is partial. So it's not like in the moment they feel like they've transected their spinal cord and they have a complete cord syndrome. They only have a part of their spinal cord at that level that's inflamed. And so as a result, patients often have incomplete symptoms. They don't often end up completely paralyzed below the level, completely numb below the level, with complete loss of bowel and bladder symptoms in MS-related myelitis specifically. Often it might be that they just have the numbness and they have mild weakness. And so that's where your clinical exam is incredibly helpful. And this kind of partial inflammation is characterized or shown here on these axial.
So I'm all done doing my version of a retwist. Retwists are usually what people who have actual locks will do, and so they'll go back and twist the roots to keep everything separated. And so I do this for the same reason, basically. Sorry, those are the parts. I don't know if I showed it properly, but yeah, I do mine for the same reason. Basically, I'm trying to separate from the roots just so everything doesn't like clump together. You can just separate them, but if you're going to have something like faux locks or braids in for a long time, braids in particular, all you can do is separate them. But the problem is that if you separate them, especially if you're really active, it can, like, you can sweat and things can build up and it can become matted together. So if you're able to separate them by doing these retwists, it just helps you like maintain the hair a lot longer. And then when you go and take them out, because we do, like, when we take these out, like, we have to like comb our natural hair, so like it just makes the process a lot easier. And so that's what I do. And yeah, just back to this topic of natural hair, I just wanted to like make sure that like I really like nail this on the head or whatever, but I love natural hair, and maybe there's something that I have to unpack about its versatility in terms, or my understanding of being able to go straight from like doing something active and going to work and just having it in its 4C state, which again is fine. But yeah, like I think it's fine, but I do think that there are people out there, a lot of people that do feel, you know, like they want to do different things and just sometimes can't do those things and still maintain the hair that the way they want it to look.